Good morning, great and glorious human beings. Elle Copeland here with Rising Tide, back for another episode of everyone's favorite show, By the Run Book, with Mendy Green and Connor from Renada. Connor Fagan from Renada. I'm going to go ahead and bring them up while we talk about what we've got going on today. Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Glad to have Connor back. We love Robbie. We love Robbie.
We do love Robbie, despite that thing.
So for everyone that is joining us, we take this time to go through Halo release notes. We were talking this morning about how we really thought that we were going to get through all of the release notes and have nothing to do, but Halo continues to drop more features every day. So we're picking back up at 2.212. We are in the middle. I'll let the guys talk about that. Per usual, if you have questions, if you have use cases, if you have comments, drop them in the chat. I'll be trying to follow up with where we're at with the features. You can always use Robbie's tool that Remy. Oh my gosh, I recite it every other week.
HaloReleases.remy.dev.
Yes, so you can use your release notes in Halo itself, or you can use this cool stuff from. I'm going to turn this music off. I'm out of practice, but after that, I'll just leave it to you guys. You guys have fun. Let me know if you need anything. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Thanks, Al. Before we jump in, super quick, if you do use HaloReleases.remy.dev, Robbie has recently massively overhauled the search in it. I think because he got sick of me whinging about it every day, if I'm being honest. But it's now great, actually. I'll tell you what he did, but I can't remember. So if you do use it and you found the search to be a little bit ropey at times, it's now way better. Now you know.
So now we do like API key, for example, and it searches for something.
It'll be in the body.
Oh, here's
there.
This is what I was looking for. Yeah.
See how quick that was?
That's exactly where we left off. Right here, that was the API key authentication method added to Halo API.
Nice. Let me get up to speed. What I can sit here and say is, before I left, we were rattling through it. You and Robbie take over for 4 or 5 sessions, and we're falling behind. So clearly, need to get the pace up again. Mendy is where we are.
Yeah,
I never thought.
Our pace.
I never thought I would say that I speak quick and don't waffle on for hours. So there we go. That is kettle black if there's ever been seen. So where are we starting today? Do we start on 882 or are we starting on underneath, Mendy?
We're starting 8.2. You can now restrict the from address options on a ticket action to mailboxes that the assigned team can access. Okay. I don't know what that behavior was like before then. It'd be interesting if they weren't able to access the mailbox, but they could see it on the from address dropdown. Like I don't know. I'm not sure how that works.
It's such a rare thing people change, right? Like,
yeah, it happens very, very rarely, but it does happen. Yeah. Added email address as another attribute option to the followers field on the self-service portal. Okay, cool. Edit various parts of mail campaigns. So this is annoying. I don't know if you've ever used mail campaigns, but I have a few times. The mail campaigns are basically, once you start them, you can't change them once they're started. So now it's saying like you can change some stuff.
I need to be careful because I don't know what's public information and what's not public information with these. All I can tell people is there's someone in charge of this area now at Halo who's a very good seasoned consultant. That's even almost talking them down at this stage. But there's going to be a lot of stuff coming to this over the next year. Even more recent than that. So like massive mail campaigns going out, large volumes is being addressed, and there's loads of love going into this. So I would expect to see.
It's already in the latest release. The latest one added the ability to add like something close to 10,000 or 50,000 members.
50,000 was the requirement they fixed. Yeah.
I think it was.
But yeah, they're doing loads of it.
100 with a 50,000 export or something. I don't know. It was a really large number. Yeah. Something that's already in the release notes at this point.
Cool.
In a future release that we have, we're not going to hit for a bit.
So yeah, it's exciting. I've always struggled with it, but the fact you can now edit them after starting it, I know this is getting attention. So they might actually be usable, in my opinion, soon.
You can now restrict pipeline stages at the opportunity type level. Do you guys use pipeline stages?
Sometimes.
Was it like from what I know, it was originally designed for the Zomentum integration?
It was.
Has that
That's
been
why it came into Halo, to map it across. And they've done more with it now. So like if you have an opportunity area, you can like Kanban with opportunity pipeline
Okay,
stages
that's
now,
something.
which is
How's that?
better.
Yeah. Is it then status?
Yeah, because you might have something that's waiting customer, but is in progress or quote sent pipeline stage. Status shouldn't be indicative of where it's at in its journey, but should be where it's at now.
You could also Kanban off workflow stage, I think. No.
I think you can, yeah.
So how is that different than the pipeline stage?
It's not, because what we end up doing most of the time is mapping a pipeline workflow stage to a pipeline stage. Yeah.
Yeah. And
We've
anyways,
got
like
flexibility.
if you do that, if you do map it through, doesn't changing the pipeline move the ticket to that workflow step or something?
So that's how it used to be within Zomentum. So if you moved it in the pipeline stage, it would move it along in Halo. But
Does that
yeah,
not happen anymore, or
no, it's just mapped to the workflow stage. Now you just set a field basically. It still does that if you got Zomentum, I mean, but internally, there's not loads of value to it as far as I can remember.
okay, cool.
But if people want
I
it,
basically tell people to leave it off and just use workflow stages and statuses.
What have I've done something with this recently, and why did I opt for that method? I opted. I can show you something actually. No, I can't show you it. Hold on. Let my brain noodle. Workflow. That was it. We've built a sales workflow recently for a few clients. It might even be our default now, actually, where once the quote has been won, we have like this extra branch, if you will, which is all about procurement and shipping and stuff like that.
Sure.
What we've done with that is we have 4 stages, which is waiting procurement, handover, waiting install, and then wrap up. Okay. Now, again, in that situation, you could be waiting procurement of goods, right? But the status might change. You know, it's in transit, it's going to arrive today or whatever. So we couldn't use status. Now, list view, all you can do is select as a filter the workflow stage number. But I didn't like that because if I have multiple workflows, the number 4 might be depending on the work that didn't work. So I actually used pipeline. What did we use? Pipeline stage and mapped it to that, meaning we could have tickets sit in really organized lists that would never move out of there because of the pipeline stage. It was one of these like unique opportunities where I knew they existed and could leverage it for this edge case, really. So
you're using like a third classification of status of the more around the quote than the opportunity itself, or necessarily, right? Like more around, or because the opportunity ticket may be in procurement or maybe whatever, but that's not, the quote is 1 essentially.
Yeah, the quote's 1. It's basically waiting for something to happen now, and yeah, it's just a unique case. So yeah, there's ways to do it. If you turn it on, it's just at the workflow stage. It's just the drop down you can select. So yeah, they are quite useful. So we just add context for people there.
Cool. All right. Well, added the option to use incoming webhook service for QuickBooks Online webhook processing. What are your thoughts on this? Do you know?
I have
some thoughts, but I don't want to bias you.
Added the option for incoming webhook service for QuickBooks Online webhook processing, as opposed to what?
As opposed to direct handling the webhook immediately. So the incoming service is that the idea is
you can do delayed processing.
Exactly.
You can do immediate processing. And what's the default? Immediate. Okay.
Immediate, yeah.
There's 3 options. Wait.
Immediate is by out of the box, which you already have right now, and then the other 2 is basically designed to be able to handle a flood of requests, so that you don't get the full.
Oh, it has retry logic. Okay, they've done the same thing for 0, haven't they? Yeah.
0 is first, and then
it was. Yeah.
Now coming.
The reality is this being optional. I don't think should be like this. Should be one or the other for me. I think it should just be the middle one. It should automatically immediately process and then should have retry logic. I don't know why you'd want to ever delay it, and I don't know why you wouldn't want it to retry. So why it's an optional thing, I don't know. Assumingly because it's beta.
What you should know is that there are certain services that they have not necessarily called out in the release notes, or maybe they did. It was just not necessarily like obvious. that they've moved by default to the webhooks incoming webhook service, and they've enabled it by default to the third option, delayed processing.
Oh,
And they
really?
prefer delayed processing by default because it's the type of service we're talking about is so commonly hit that they have to stagger it out. But the end result is, and this might blow your mind when I tell you what it is, but the end result is obviously a delay for things happening. And what they've done this for is the calendar real-time webhook integration. And so when you do a change in Microsoft 365 before the webhook service is turned on, it's immediate.
Yeah.
Right? When you turn it on, you now have a delay, which can take 10, 15 minutes for the appointment to even come into Halo, which is the same thing as the freaking sync from Halo Integrator. Like, what's the point?
The whole thing we fixed, right? We could get that down to, I mean, by default it was an hour, but you could, weigh on them and get it down to like 15 minutes, right? Well, I suppose no. Well, depends how you look at it. The schedule is doing everything theoretically, but you could have handled that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't quite understand. I understand obviously trying to mitigate 429 errors or whatever for too many requests, but
so there's a special parameter that you can provide. One of those special parameters, query parameters, you can do on the configuration screen of the Exchange calendar, and it'll give you access to this screen, which is otherwise hidden on that area.
I've not seen it. Yeah.
So if you add that in, you'll be able to control like whether or not it's immediate processing, or whether it's delayed, or whether it's or not using the webhook service at all, or something like that. But essentially,
I just always get frustrated with stuff like this
because of the load and the performance impact that it was having.
It frustrates me because like 90% of people aren't going to read this release note or watch this video and know this exists, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to have issues, and then it's going to be, oh, you should turn this setting on, which will soon not be beta. And then people like us who consult are like, oh, why didn't Connor set that originally? And then I'm like, it wasn't there. And like, there's this whole, why not just set what is best?
How often do you go back in time and refresh the settings?
You don't, right? Like, it's just,
we had a client we did onboarding for that the other day, we went and actually turned on the new custom field storage that's been off because when we implemented it didn't exist. And we were trying to do like dynamic fields and we couldn't do the non-integer ID. We're like, wait a second, we're like, oh yeah, these two settings we have to go turn on.
You might know we've got a tool for like bulk moving custom fields to tenants, right? We've now added a check-in to be like, does the client have that setting on? If no, raise it, because we managed to break a Halo by sending it's the whole thing, but on-prem it was. And we literally broke the entire thing. But fun. Yeah, it's one of those things. So yeah, curious one. So next then, before we talk on that, so my thoughts are, I mean, great they're having options now, but I think we both share the sentiment that certain things should just be done. But
yeah, and also like communication needs to be a little bit better in certain areas. But yeah, I have the ability to hide certain tickets from the change calendar. To hide a ticket from the change calendar on the end user portal, tick this is sensitive. Or
I don't know anyone who's using this. I'll be honest. I think the entire thing is completely unusable. But
I don't like that. The is sensitive field does like 15 things. Now they're tying it to another thing. Like, what if I don't want it sensitive? I just don't want it on the calendar. Right? That seems a little silly.
Let's just move on from that one.
Users are subscribed to has been added as an option to distribution lists and user lists. I guess I have to read the whole sentence. You'd read really nice if they used quotes to identify like this is the name of the setting or this is the name of the label of the field.
Yeah, I sent an email to Halo this morning. We went round in the houses yesterday. There's like a setting that I just kept reading wrong because the way they'd written it. And I was like, you just need to like add a word or break it up because I haven't read it that way. And it was like, oh, it's such a simple thing, but this is similar, I guess. Like, how should we read this?
Service users are subscribed to. Is the name of the setting.
Yeah, sure.
Has been added as an option to distribution lists and user lists. So if you're including like a dynamic filter and that dynamic filter includes users who are service users, we can also include those service users or we can exclude them. I think by default they're excluded or something. You can now send mail campaigns from sales mailboxes. That's nice. Do you guys use sales mailboxes? You have any setup?
One at the minute.
We have two.
Okay, yeah.
Well, both of them set up this past month.
But it's still using the old NH server, so it's on a sync. So like it's almost unusable again. Like you've got to wait. You enable it, and you've got to wait for it to sync, which is the next day by default. I've already raised this to Halo. Like,
is it? No, I thought it was a few minutes.
No, we enabled it, and the sync was for the next day. So like we had to wait a day for the initial sync, and then it was like every 15 minutes or something.
Oh, the first sync is the next day.
The first sync. I was like, let's set it up now. And I'm like, oh wait, we've got to wait a day, I guess.
Yeah. But after that, it's 15 minutes.
The concern I have with this, and I don't quite understand how their mail campaigns work currently, but you probably know the story that when I first built Halo years ago, I sent welcome emails to 16,000 people, forgetting that I was about to break my tenant and literally locked our entire tenant because Microsoft went, "You've been hacked. Like the volume for this single account has gone through the roof, right?" Yeah. And is this going to be the same problem? Like,
if you send out 16,000 emails from your personal mailbox, your tenant is going to get in the way, and it's going to be like, "Whoa, this is a spammer," and shut you down.
The problem is what volume, though, from a sales mailbox like an agent's is going to get blocked from Microsoft. Like 100 in the same second? Like, I think the threshold's very low. I don't know.
They have them listed publicly. That's not, it is what it is. But that's the same. It's no different than sending up any random like emails from your Outlook,
Well, exactly. It's it's a curious one, isn't it? So just be careful when you're doing this at the volumes and double check.
If you can, doesn't mean you should, right? Connor's line.
It's a great one. I'll get that on my gravestone. A warning will now be shown on an action and ticket, and the ticket will be updated if an action email will fail to send.
Not did fail to send, but
will fail to send.
It's strange wording there, especially because the screenshot says email has failed to send.
Yeah, but Halo know before you send it that it will fail. Like that's some crazy stuff. I'm going to assume here that it has failed. This is really good. I like this. But what are the chances that that annoying red banner that spams you to hell when there's been some failure will have no correlation to this anywhere? Like you still have to link the two. The back-end service error notification and you click it and it just takes you to the first page and you spend 3 hours trying to dig through every page to find out where the error is. Be good if that had this message on it. But yeah, this helps, I guess.
Yeah.
Is there a setting to turn it on?
No. It's just on.
Wow.
I know, right? They score some points in your book. It's just on.
Well, there must be a setting. It will also change the status of the ticket to the end user update default. Oh, okay.
No.
Wow.
End user updated. Yeah, there's no setting.
This is very un-Halo. There's usually a checkbox for these things. I'm always disappointed in them at this stage. Please don't go back and change it, anybody. Jesus. That's cool. I like it.
Now the ability to map relationship types for parent, child, and sibling assets in SQL imports. Configuring field mappings for an asset type SQL import, there will be 3 extra field mappings available.
Okay.
Cool. These mappings will apply in conjunction with the respective asset name mappings. I don't think I've ever done SQL imports for assets, so I'm not sure I have context to talk about this.
Not only have I never imported assets, I don't think I've even done anything with clients around asset relationships, if I'm being honest.
We've imported assets, we've imported stock, but we have not done relationship stuff.
Yeah, no. Moving on. Added is running to Halo Asset Discovery integration.
Great.
Cool. Additional rule types have been added to qualification matching criteria for custom fields.
You know what would be nice here? It would be nice if they had a little eye that we can click on that would give us more information about what it's talking about. That's what they normally do on these kinds of things, but there's no information. So I guess we just say cool and move on.
Well, do you do much for qualification matching? I don't, for the record.
I talk about it a lot. To the point where I actually had a customer call me out on it on a previous call I had with them later last week. They were like, I want to talk to you about qualifications because you're always talking about it and they sound cool. And I'm like, they are cool and I'm fascinated by them, but there's no practical use for most people. And
it's a very hard thing to manage, I think. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of things that have to go into it.
Qualifications. I don't know if I would say it's hard to manage. Like it
says custom fields here.
Paper license. Oh, is that what they added? They just added custom fields.
Well, it says matching criteria for custom fields. So, like, can we pull data from somewhere to update the? That's where my head goes. But
No, it's not. It's
overboard
not
everything.
for. Let me show you. It's not for.
I've never used it. I'm an alien to this. I've never understood how I could get any
The way
value from it.
qualifications works super fast is you basically create a skill of some kind. And that skill can be anything. It could be tier 1, 2, 2, 3. It could be generic. It could be more specific. Or it could even be like client segments. You can say like these are compliance clients. So they're security compliance or something like that. And then what happens is the skill gets matched to a ticket. So that's when it's talking about criteria, that's what it's talking about.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you can custom field criteria.
Yeah. So then in here you would do these are the custom fields that they've added. And then you can also do category. The very beginning version of this feature was just categories. You do categories and category groups. And it would say like, oh, this ticket is a security ticket. So it falls under the security qualification. And then the second half of that is that on the agent level, you would just assign agents to that qualification with an expiration date. And so if a ticket does match a qualification, only those agents can work on that ticket. As an example of the outcome. You don't have to force that. You've got some options over here, which are pretty cool. So there's a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of power behind qualifications, and it is definitely underrated. But there's also not a lot of practical use for most MSPs.
We chat about people call it skill matching, really, but it's the same thing, right?
Same thing,
Is the theory on paper is great. Mendy has a SQL qual or skill, therefore any SQL ticket Mendy gets. But in practicality, do you want that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like when we're talking about like upskilling and enabling our agents, do we really want to force Mendy to have every SQL ticket? Maybe if it says something related to SQL, but then how do we get that on the like? There's such theoretically it's great. In practice, I feel it would either
easily swap that over, right? Because it's just a matter again. The qualification is all arbitrary. And so imagine if you had like 3 SQL experts and you had like 2 people who are interested in learning SQL. So why don't you just create a SQL learning or beginner skill and weight that higher? So it would go to them first, right?
Yeah.
And then you can then class to a different skill at that point. Then say like, oh, okay, they're not available or they need help. So then they can escalate to the next. It's just a matter of how you plan it out. I don't think
I think that's where we
flexible. I think it's just not very practical for most cases.
Yeah.
But it is, I think it is usable and very scalable.
Well, I'll wait till you do it, and then you can tell me what pitfalls you found. And
I have used it. We had one client that was using it. We had one client that basically had a sales team, and the sales team had specialties within the sales team of who can quote certain types of things.
Fine.
So for the duration of the ticket being assigned to that team, there was a qualification matched by category. And so then the person who was like, I need help, wouldn't know who the people are. So the qualification would be like limit the reassign drop down to those 2 or 3 people for each skill based off category. So the account owner who's like selling a certain project knows it's a network project, goes to reassign and only sees his network people. Or he knows it's
a built-in field on the reassign or a custom field for who to go to.
Well,
let's say I used to
what it looked like.
Well, I'm just thinking because I've had some. We ended up building it with custom fields, but something similar where we needed to send a ticket to somebody, but only wanted to show 2 people. We didn't want like a million teams, right? They wanted it to be isolated to who it went to.
Yeah,
we did it custom, but you're saying you can do it with this to manipulate like a reassign action, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because what happens is like this: agents must have this qualification to be assigned, and this immediately limits the dropdown to only show those that have the qualification.
Fine.
And we basically strip the qualification out once it's left that step, right? We added it in only for that period for when that had to happen, and then once it's done and past it, we let it
go everywhere else.
There's some of that was custom, like stripping it off and putting it on a specific thing. That's custom. Yeah, but other than that, like it was a very straightforward. So again, like there's a lot of usage here and potential if you segment and plan properly. But the need for it is not very common, right? And so therefore it's not usually worth setting up.
It's got my brain noodling now. Probably unrelated, or maybe it could be it.
I mean, the truth is that it's not that people can't use it. It's that there are other things that they could be working on first that'll make them better.
Oh, 100%.
And
it's hard for someone like us because you get like so far and we're like, we'll just custom it anyway. Like you're almost like, this doesn't fully do it, so we're just going to run bucket anyway. So I'll just build it custom. So yeah, we've never needed to lean on it, I guess, is the core. But just curious, I'm thinking it more. Let's move on. That's what bore everyone with our hypothetical qualification match.
Sounds good. Anyways, they added custom fields to qualification matching, so you can
basically
tag.
If you didn't hear that, go watch the past 10 minutes. We can wake up now.
Ticket details can auto refresh the background automation completes. This is one of those checkboxes that should be on by default, but it is not. Go turn that on and then have Halo yell at me for slowing down everyone's Halo. But in the event there's an update to the ticket, we can just auto refresh instead of waiting the 2-second, 3-second period. It'll essentially subscribe to that update and go grab that automatically. It does require collision detection to be enabled and a WebSocket connection to be configured for on-premise customers. And that's
I'm assuming. This is curious. I'm assuming this isn't meaning an automation within a workflow. This is meaning something different, right?
It is talking about automation on workflow or runbook, right? Because when the
automation completes,
anything on the automations tab that's finished will just trigger, hey, refresh the ticket. Automation has completed.
Do you know what's really annoying about that?
What's that?
I recently went and re-engineered all of our workflows to no longer use automations and to use step conditions because of that issue. Well, yeah, so the automation, there's that delay, it's a wait, right? Like it's annoying if you're trying to like triage it and work it. If it's got to validate through an automation, it's laggy. So we've changed it to step conditions, which I actually think is better than doing this, if I'm being honest, because there is no latency with step conditions within a workflow if you haven't used them.
I've never used step conditions. I've always engineered the workflows to have automations only run when there's no interactive happening. So for example, if triage has to happen, it's because the ticket's not assigned yet. And so I start the workflow in the already triaged step. And then if the status is if the agent's unassigned, I then have an automation move back. By the time somebody opens a ticket to triage, it's already run that automation. And if I'm working the ticket directly, creating it, I've skipped that step because I'm actively assigned to the ticket, right? I'm doing it right away.
So we do, here's the scenario. You're on the new ticket screen. You get a call, you're on the new ticket screen. You log the ticket against you and you want to work it. You don't need to triage it because you're on the phone, you're going to work it.
Right.
So we have a automation, or now a step condition, but with an automation, which is if an agent's assigned to the ticket when it's created, skip past triage, out triage it. The problem is we could often find.
I did the exact same thing, but reversed. So I skipped the automation lag.
How do you do that? Because when you click submit ticket, something's got that automation's got to run, right?
Starts when it's already past the triage step. Instead of starting in step 1, I start in step 2.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, fine.
And then the automation fires only if the agent is still unassigned, right? And then from step 2, it moves it back to step 1 if the agent's unassigned. So it's a reverse.
Yeah.
Every automation I build out, if there's an interactive part to it, I always reverse the logic. Every time.
Theoretically, in your flow, you could submit it and see all the actions on the ticket that then suddenly disappear, right? Same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And so then, and that's how, but you're saying step conditions, there's no lag.
Fantastic. They are game changing.
Because I've never tried them. I've just kept doing it the way I've always done it.
I kind of want to show you, but I think I'm going to break everything if I try and share my screen just for
the
audience.
Have to get through the release notes.
Yeah. What I will
we can do a video about it later. You can do a video on YouTube later.
Yeah. I will post a picture. Why don't I post a picture? We'll find it. I'll do a video. I'll send it to you, Mendy. You can do something with it. Step conditions on workflows, use them over automations is my typical advice.
Update currency to quotes.
Oh, what? A new set has been added.
Interesting. If you're using multi-currency, I'm pretty sure.
The old update code is what's supposed to the what? The old update purchase. Sorry, my head's falling off here. What is going on?
Old update purchase currency button will be replaced by update currency. So it now does both cost and base price when the exchange rates change. This is when you're using multi-currency.
Oh, okay.
And in this version, by the way, it's broken. It only works for regular invoices. It doesn't work for recurring invoices. But they
Fine.
fixed that in a bug, in a hotfix. They're stable, it's fixed.
I use multi-currency, but in a hacky way where everything is just one. And I quote in the currency converted price rather than let Halo automatically convert currency.
Multi-currency then.
Hey?
What?
So I can pass the currency across to 0 or whatever I need to. So I use all 4 currencies, but I have different product groups for the currency. I just found it worked.
Interesting.
It's not me having pricing like $37.24 because of currency shift. And I was like, oh no, I'm not doing it. It looks ugly. Added option to make a knowledge-based negative feedback comment mandatory. Okay.
Well, it's been there for forever, but okay.
A new default setting for showing grandchildren in ticket lists.
Oh, yes.
This means this is just enabled now.
Now new setting and control whether grandchildren should. Where is the setting?
Config ticket general settings.
Ticket type option is under configure ticket type settings. It's both.
Oh, in lists. Oh, and ticket. Yeah. Okay, good. I was going to say it needed to be in ticket type, but they've done both. 2 settings for it. Okay, fine, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's useful for projects, right? Yes. Where you get the project tasks within, and then
a task of a task, right? Basically, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Improvements AI report analysis. I'm not sure how much you care about this. I always found this to be super annoying.
I've never used it.
Oh, you can now bring it into PDF templates. That's kind of cool.
An AI report analysis. This can be used with PDF template. Okay.
You can have it run automatically on a schedule.
Analysis can have a part of a report. This must be enabled globally within config reporting. Once this is enabled, scheduling section. Okay. Okay.
This is the super, like if you pull up any report, you have that report, like the AI analysis.
Yeah, you got to turn it on first, haven't you? But yeah. Then you click the button.
Thing is, if you click on it by accident, you can't remove it after.
Yeah, it's just a massive.
It always opens expanded, and you have this massive text. It's so frustrating.
Yeah. So, and it's just
So now you can have it run automatically, and then include it in a PDF template. Cool. Like to show when the last time it ran and what the actual analysis was.
Sure. We've used the AI prompt override, but that's in our account management thing, which we'll show some people another day. But I've never really needed it. But if you're using it and you're finding it valuable, then there you go.
Added a setting to restrict knowledge base article amendments to owners only. Okay, cool. I guess.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be under access control, or should I not say those dirty words yet?
Let's not talk about access control. You'll get me crying.
Add a global setting to allow users to translate actions on the portal using Azure AI Translator. I don't like this Azure AI Translator thing. Honestly, I find regular AI does the job just as well, and it's cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, we noticed that with Elegant Insights. Like people were using it in very different languages, and then we like process it and understand where people are having issues. Like, I didn't even know this would work. Everything's in French.
Multi-language Halo report writer? What?
Yeah. I like look at it and I'm like, what's going on? Like, it was unanticipated results. I mean, I guess it's fine if you need it. I mean, that little button that no one's going to know to click is weird, but anyway, if you need it, I guess.
It's secondary asset MAC address field to the Splashtop integration. Okay, cool.
A secondary asset MAC. A secondary MAC address.
I mean, computers usually have more than one. They usually have more than 2. They could have have as many network adapters as you have, virtual or physical.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how this helps, but
I'm trying to.
I don't really use Splashtop integration, so I'm not sure. We would have the context to know how it would work.
That's fine. You can now set character limits on memo-enriched text custom fields. Yes, you can.
Additional fields to assist with reporting on OLAs and rules.
I showed for the first time to a client OLAs the other day since they've ever came out, and they went, why do we need this, Connor? We can simply report on it anyway. I was like, yeah, we can report on it, but like maybe some people can't. And Ola's helps with that level of reporting.
Yeah.
And you can run rules at the start of a step, but I don't know why you'd ever do that because that's like an abstraction of like, why did this ticket change? Oh, now I have to go look at the ticket, the workflow at the step, then the rule like that. I said to her, like, please don't do it here. Just do it at a ticket rule if you need it because we're never going to remember that this is like
Where
6
this
menus
was.
deep. Yeah, it's just not going to find it, right?
Yeah.
Do you use Ola's much? I've never really found a need.
There are, again, it goes back to one of those things that happens with qualification, I think, where MSPs have other areas they need to improve on first before they talk about it. I think OLAs would be a useful thing. The idea for an OLA is to track how long it took for a ticket to get from point A to point B within their internal organization.
Yeah.
Whether it's steps or different workflows, I don't know if the OLA can actually span workflows, but the idea
it's per workflow, yeah,
is supposed to be across department, right? That's the point of like, not including Halo, like in general, an OLA is about how long did handoff take? How long did it take for us to get started? How long did, right? You'll have internal metrics of how long you want someone to be sitting for. That's not public to your client. It's not tied to your contracts. So the service level agreements are the public ones, and the OLAs are the internal ones. So no, I mean, we don't find a lot of people using them. We've set it up for one customer, but I don't know, like, they're not using it actively because they want the OLA visible on the ticket list, similar to the SLA.
There's a tab, isn't there? There's like the OLA tab is what it has,
exactly
I believe.
inside the ticket. They want the timer countdown, just like SLA time remaining. They want an OLA time remaining visible on the ticket list, so they can actually.
Is there a timer with it as well?
There is a timer, but it's not it's not like
on
a bar.
the tab, right? It's on that OLA tab. Yeah. Okay, fine.
Yeah, the timer is just the difference between how much time you have left to complete that OLA step, right? And then you have like a missed or hit. They are adding a bunch of stuff, like in the later version, literally the last version they just put out, 2.234, they added a bunch of OLA notifications that act very similar to the SLA notifications.
Yes, we've seen. Yeah, we've seen that. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they're spending a lot of time on this. I feel like some of this is probably more for the ITSM side than the PSA side.
Yeah. Notification changes it a bit. I think we actually came around to that on the call the other day with the client. I was like, oh, it could be helpful. That was it. They wanted to notification ticket wasn't triage of an hour, basically, is what it was. But the SLA could have been 2 hours, and it was how do we bridge that? I think there's a problem. Hold on. I'm pretty sure you can't do decimal hours on those notifications, which is why we stopped the entire conversation. Give me 30 seconds. I'll tell you loud now. Hold on. Notifications. General setting. No. Notification. New notification. Event is the OLA. Change build. I think it's fixed integers.
So you can't do like half an hour or 15 minutes.
I can't remember where they were. Oh, they were in some silly place. They weren't in notifications. They was in like ticket. They was in somewhere. Yeah, they are.
They just added it to the SLA configuration.
Yes.
There's the
SLA
percentage.
general settings, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Find it. No, it's not on my version yet.
It is. It could be in the SLA itself. Do we have to turn it on?
I don't know.
It was somewhere weird and it was fixed.
Well, either way, if you use them, again, it's not super relevant, I think, for most MSPs. If you use them, then you should know that they're mostly reporting right now, not super functional yet, but they're adding more features to it. Add a setting prevent email responses from continuing the approval flow at approval step level. Oh, that's interesting. So right now, if you have an approval step, I'm assuming that's what that means. I don't actually know, but because it's no details. But normally, right now, if you reply to a ticket that's waiting on approval, the approver can say something like approved or whatever, and it'll recognize that. It could be like rejected or approved or accepted, and it'll recognize the word of the email and move it along.
Does it?
I wonder if this stops that from happening.
I didn't know that was a thing.
It is a thing, and it drove me nuts. You can be like, why am I approving this? And it can be like incorrectly translating that to like, oh, it's approved.
Oh, I didn't know the words approved it.
Or who said this is approved, because it's like misunderstood, and it's like, boom, okay, it's approved. Now it's not, I haven't seen that kind of mistake actually happen with the email response, but there have been other weird things. We want you to go sign it in, or more commonly, maybe we can we want you to fill information when you're approving. So force it to run through the portal. So we don't want email to be able to do that. But yeah, email responses do get recognized out of the box. And I think that stops that from happening. Setting the custom field configuration of copy value to grandchildren tickets when updated. That's pretty straightforward. There's already a copy to child. If you check that box, you'll get a third checkbox appear, copy to grandchildren as well. So cool. Add a primary asset as a criteria for runbooks. Okay. Cool. Added
agent item as a variable for database lookups.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good. Added reports and dashboards creation change tracking. All right. That one needs an explanation, really?
Thank you.
Not enabled by default, but can be turned on with the below advanced settings.
Yeah, we didn't tell you where though, does it?
Advanced
You'd assume it'll. Well,
setting. It's probably going to be under config change tracking in the same place everyone else is. Everything else is great.
General settings enable config, or is it
advanced config change tracking? Enable report right here. Enable tracking for reports and dashboards.
Enable config tracking. Brilliant.
Oh, by the way,
should turn that on.
Turn this on.
We have.
We haven't talked about this yet, but everyone should go into advanced and turn that on.
I moaned about this because it doesn't tell you where to turn this on, and I thought I was going insane for like half an hour.
Hey, real quick, will you guys read that in case people can't see it?
This setting says search for settings and configuration. So what this does, just to give you, and we're going out of order here, but I can come over here now and search for something like, I don't know, config something, and it's going to search all the settings in Halo. So instead of going to find the screen, you can just click on one of these settings, and it will take you straight to that setting and where that is. All right, so that's, again, going back to where that was. That was under configuration advanced settings. And then under configuration, we want to turn on this setting, search for settings in configuration, so that when you are searching on your features and your whatever, it'll search all setting labels and values and let you find something much easier. So yeah, go turn that on. That's in stable today. So go do that. Cool.
Yeah, I turned it on the other day and got frustrated with where it was because the release notes never tell you where it is.
Right.
Filter profiles can now be used on child tickets. I've not still used these filter profiles yet. I've not had a need, but
I mean, by default, the projects include closed tickets. It drives me nuts. You're looking at project tasks, closed tickets show up. It drives me crazy. So I asked them to add, give me filter profiles. I can just flip to only see open tickets or specific tickets that I care about when I'm working the project.
Can you set a default filter profile?
I don't know. A default filter can be configured on the settings tab of the ticket type. There we go. A default filter can also be set at the ticket link level, which will override the ticket type setting. That is what we need. Ticket type, ticket link. If you know what ticket links are, by the way, config ticket type links. You'll often find any Renada video, we've got tabs everywhere. So we have tasks and roadmap items and all sorts of stuff. So you have multiple tabs on a ticket. You can set these per ticket type. So you could have a roadmap ticket goes on a roadmap tab, and a task goes on a task tab, and etc. not to suck eggs. So yeah, these are incredible, which means that's a game changer actually. Ticket type links. I'm writing this down. Filter for closed tickets. Just as a quick spoiler, we're currently drafting internally at Renada a top 10 things you need in Halo video. There's about 40 things right now on that list, so it might become a mini series that Robbie's going to do. So I'm writing this setting to that, by the way. So if you're interested in that, it's something we're doing just as a bit of fun, really. But still get top 50 things you have to turn on in Halo instead of just top 10.
It's a 6-hour video.
You're worried about Robbie's voice.
You'll get over it. It'll be fine. He's sat on the couch right now anyway, looking at Teams, so it's clearly well rested. So yeah, cool. Sorry about that one. And that was the setting for filter profiles can be used on child tickets. The value, what we're saying is that, yeah, by default in projects and tasks, it shows every single ticket against it. You can now filter and hide close, which you would want to do in most scenarios to clean up your list. So this is
and then you can one-off change it. If you need to see everything that was done, you can one-off change that filter profile, and then it just reverts back to default when you're done.
It's fantastic. I'm so happy. I'm pleased I turned up today.
Added multiple settings to the other open tickets view. New tickets, general settings, default entity for other open tickets, new ticket type level setting, filter profile for other open tickets. I don't know what it's talking about. I don't want to other open tickets views. I mean, I know that other open tickets views is that other open tickets tab, right? New tickets, general setting, default entity for other open tickets. Let's take a look.
Add multiple settings to the other open ticket views.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. This is one of those areas where they could use quotes around the setting name. So when you're looking at a ticket, let me just pull up a Halo tab here. Go to a ticket. You have the ability to see other tickets that are open.
You've gone out of the window you're sharing.
Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Here.
Safe.
So down here, you have the ability to show other open tickets. And so this is the entity it's talking about, user site client over here. So you can default that under tickets general settings by looking for wherever it was, other open default entities. So you can default that to something specific. And then what was the other setting it talked about was
filter profiles for other open tickets as well.
No, new tickets have so filter profile.
Just a note, by the way, for anyone curious, you can make other open tickets go on a separate tab. But
yeah, I was going to get to that next.
Is a bug or was a bug where when you put it on a separate tab, you couldn't then change the filter to user site or whatever. That might be fixed. We'll find out in a second.
I've always had it on another open tab, and it's always been working for me. When did that bug come around?
I feel like we noticed it recently with something.
Maybe they recently introduced it. I've been using it for years. So under settings, we have other open tickets. Here we go. And so then we can show other open tickets in a tab, which excludes supplier tickets for some reason. Don't ask me why.
Oh, no, the bug, Rob will probably interject here. The bug is something to do with, I feel you can unfilter here, like select one of these, and I can't remember how to replicate it. But if you unselect one of those, like show, yeah, I feel like if you don't allow it for the site, I can't remember how to do it. We'll show the tab in a minute. It might jump out to me.
And this is the filter profile. That's that other setting they added. This release note is not super clear, but basically back to this for real quick. We're just going to talk about this for a moment. The default entity for other open tickets, that is actually in quotes. That's the setting that exists under tickets general settings. And then this, I guess it is clear now that I know where it is under the ticket type level setting of what filter profile to show for that other open ticket view. So going back here, we're going to update this to show it in a tab under tickets, ticket types, settings. You can do related activity, show other open tickets in a tab. We'll make it in a much easier view. And then I'm going to change this to open tickets, including SLA hold. And then I'm going to go ahead and save this. And then going back to the ticket, I should be able to refresh this. And I now have, instead of it being over here, which is super cluttered, I have this other open tickets. And I can see I've got only open and or SLA hold. I can't change filter profile here, but I could swap between client and user.
That seems to be okay now. Okay.
So, not sure what you were saying.
I can't remember. Well, I'll figure it out. I'll put it in the chat if I can figure it out.
Cool.
But yeah, we recommend tabs as well. It's just easier to see it rather than a little menu in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah. And assets too, by the way, we recommend being in another tab, which is also normally down here.
I'm indifferent with that because typically you'll have a singular asset. So let's say Ninja related asset, but then the open Ninja link is actually not hidden in another tab, which I prefer being down the right-hand side.
Controversial. Only if your screen isn't significantly full. Otherwise, you have to scroll all the way to the end and you don't see that it's there.
Yeah.
Right?
We don't work with people with small screens, though, is the...
Yeah. Well, when you have it on one of these, let's just search all assets. Just pick something. It'll actually indicate that there's an asset on here. So if I'm looking at the ticket, I can see immediately there's an asset. If it's over here and that part's hidden because the client information is a lot or whatever custom fields you have or anything else, you don't see the asset. you'd have to know to go scroll every time. This is much
exactly.
easier and in your face, so to speak, that it's there.
One of the things they should add at some point is control over those two sidebars, like ordering of fields on there and removing stuff we don't care about. I know you can do a couple of things with permissions now, but like
yeah,
there's not a lot. To have full control would be game changing. But debate for another day.
Cool. Well, I think that we're at time.
We're about at time. Figured we could give everyone, if they wanted to drop, if anyone had questions or if there's anything in particular you guys wanted to look ahead and say that. So we're about done. We'll finish up 2.212 next time. But I wanted to give everyone a chance to ask questions.
Yeah, we didn't get through a lot today. We did lots of chatting, Mandy. So yes, the kettle black, me going new, and Robbie were taking too long, and
too long. We have to catch up.
Got to catch up. We've not had a debate in a few months.
We've gotten feedback that a lot of the conversations that we have are more valuable than just reading the release notes, anyways. Like the conversations
I can believe
how they get used, whatever.
Probably more valuable when Rob was here, but now you've got my dumbass arguing. But it's different perspectives, isn't it?
I didn't say that. I want to use agreements for selling non-labor services. Lease line. I notice you cannot link products to agreements. How do you handle templating recurring invoices created from agreements?
You cannot link products to agreements. How do you handle template recurring invoices created from agreements? Templating. I won't use agreements selling non-labor services, these lines. So we see that a lot for reference, right? Like if people are breaking it. Well, let's slow down a few things.
Sure. So, this is an easy one to go to.
Yeah. So my mindset with this is if you can break the invoice out from your managed services agreement, right? Some people may co-term it and have it a 3-year period, and it might all be in one. If you can break it out and have a lease line recurring invoice separately, that always helps, because then you can link the recurring invoice back to the agreement based on the recurring invoice of the agreement, right? That's quite simple. It doesn't mean when you create the invoice on a monthly basis, they have to be separate. They can come into one. The bit I'm stuck on is how do you handle templating recurring invoices created from agreements?
I don't know what templating means in that regard.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that as well.
But I mean, the thing that I tell clients is that for the most part, you have to think of agreements as labor only. Like you don't need an agreement to sell a product. You don't need an agreement to sell a license. You don't need an agreement to sell hardware as a service, or anything like that. So agreements primarily exist because you want to make sure that you're covering the time that's been entered onto a ticket, and your billing plan is going to dump that time against that agreement. You can link invoices to contracts and agreements. And by doing so, you do get a name assigned to the invoice. So there's a reason to do that. There's also some level of profitability that you get if you're dealing with labor, where you can have the invoice tied to the agreement, and therefore you can link the exact revenue line item of the invoice to the actual labor that agreement covered. But when it comes to products, you don't really need another agreement for it. And for when it comes to templates, yes. So when it comes to templates, you can create product groups or item bundles. And I can show you if we want to bring my screen back up.
Well, just on that thought, super quick, I agree with you for the most part. We say, you only need an agreement if you're capturing time. However, the value of agreements is the automated tickets in Halo, right? The fact we can have a sales opportunity created X days, month before the agreement ends or the next call day ends. So for sales teams that need to accurately track and have tickets created for lease lines, then we do make them. Now it annoys me because I'm like,
I use recurring invoice line, the line date for that.
Fine.
So, but it's the same concept. But let's go. Like the answer for templating is based off the item bundles that you would create.
I think we need to change your screen, Mindy.
Oh, I need to switch my screen. Sorry. Go to configuration and then items and stock control, which is somewhere over here, and then you've got item bundles. And then here you can create essentially some sort of infrastructure or lease line or internet line or whatever connection you're doing, whatever product you're bundling together, essentially. And then you just add the items to here. And so if we just do like item bundle 1, because I can't think of a better name, and we just throw a bunch of items in here, essentially that make up your product offering, when it comes time to creating the recurring invoice or quote or sales order, any of those things, from the invoice, we can just go to the recurring invoice and then add, picking a client, we can just add an item bundle, which will be from that list. And then it'll basically be, we can check this box, add all items at once, and then just boom, there you go. There's your template, right? There's a bunch of different ways you can template, including cloning a recurring invoice. So we had a client literally build templated invoices that were not real, like recurring invoices that were there to be a template, and then you just clone that to different clients. You could also import lines from another invoice, clone lines from another invoice as well. So you've got the clone button on top if you have an existing invoice, which is over here. You got this clone button, or if you're making a brand new invoice, you can just import lines from another invoice. There's a bunch of different ways you can do templating, so to speak, but I'm not aware of one that would be powered by an agreement necessarily, unless you're doing like assets being added automatically from, or users being automatically added from an agreement, unless you're doing something like that, which we don't recommend doing. I don't know about you, Connor.
My head's fallen off when you clicked item bundles, I'll be honest, is what happened there. And
Okay.
now I've spent the past 5 minutes while you've been talking.
What have you what did you see or not see that you?
So you're in can you see your URL right now?
Yes. I'm in the recurring
URL
screen.
Just go to, so you're in when bundles, item/bundles, right?
Yes.
Which I observed my side, and I was like, I'm pretty sure these are the quote product bundles.
Correct. They are. They got moved. They got moved.
Well, they still exist in quote product bundles.
Yes, they do.
Right?
Yes.
However, they route to different URLs. So you went to item/bundles, yet when you do it in quotes, it goes to quote settings groups. But it's the exact same thing presented.
It's the exact same thing.
With a different, and I'm sat here like, what in the world's going on?
Item bundle.
Because I was like, this is how I do it, by just, I'm a dinosaur, right? I know they moved, but the fact that the URL is different is it's very on Halo. They usually just map to the same URL, like, you know, when like sales split out from tickets, like everything like workflows just routed you back to tickets, right? It was well annoying. They now do separate URLs, but it is the same thing. That's tilted me. Sorry. We do what you do with the group, the bundles.
So, and then regarding the comment about auto processing, the customer signing the agreement is not a contract agreement in Halo. It's not an agreement entity. That's going to be a quote, right? The agreement is going to be the quote that gets sent out. So you're going to have an opportunity that's scoped with your proposal. The quote itself will be that PDF. They sign the PDF. That becomes your signing for the contract. Upon quote acceptance, you'll have a sales order created automatically, which is what you want. There's a setting, you turn that on. The sales order created automatically will have a button for you to trigger the recurring invoice creation, or whatever other things you have to do to process that sale. And that would add items automatically that you've quoted to the recurring invoice. So you still use the product bundles. The product bundles just go on the quote. The quote goes out with your full statement of work. They sign, goes to sales order with the exact same items. And then you just turn those items into a recurring invoice, and it's all templated in that regard. So it's not quite like the agreement or contract entity that's in the Halo, but it is the same paper contract definition of the word, if that's what you mean.
We can do agreement signing now, Mendy, in Halo.
I know you can do agreement signing. I don't do it. Do you do it? Do you do agreement signing? Okay.
No one should use that. What in the hell is that even? Like, no one used that. What is... Damn, it gives me anxiety. Anyway, we're running over time because everyone was late attending today. Not us, but the audience, obviously.
Just want to give a shout out to Vamp NC for thanking you guys for the content. And then as we're wrapping, I know they said, are there any in-depth runbook configuration video guides? I mean, they said the clarifying question was just a general guide, but do you guys have any resources that you've created that you want to point them to for runbooks?
I think the best these days is maybe Joe Burns, maybe, is the most recent. Like, we've got some, but ours are quite old now. Like, I did my runbook series like 2 or 3 years ago, I think. Do you guys, have you done much recent of runbook content?
I think Jen did something recently. I don't recall. But I mean, honestly, like on both of our YouTube channels, there's no like, let me teach you everything there to know about runbooks. Like, you need to go through and watch a bunch of different videos, because you'll see we have a playlist on our channel about like using Halo's API. That they'll have some things in there, and so on. So like, you're gonna want to watch different videos, see how they get built all together.
Let me link Joe Burns' channel. He's done. I'll put it in the chat, I guess. Does that go public? I don't know. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. We'll share it. So that's MSP Blueprint is Joe Burns.
There you go. Yeah, he's done like a whole mini series on runbooks and stuff like that, which I think people are quite like, and he's done it in the past 12 months. So probably the most recent content, I think, on it. Yeah, we've not done anything in ages.
It's been a minute, but awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. Next time we'll finish 2.212, pick up 2.214. We're getting some more gratitude from people. Glad to have everyone, but we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Guys, anything you want to say before we sign off?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to see you, Connor. Good to see you, Mendy.
Cheers, Al. Appreciate it.
Bye.